Our next speaker, Jo van Ijzeren, is a very passionate and experienced legal practitioner and has quite a track record as a legal business partner and general counsel. At ForFarmers, he was responsible for many mergers and acquisitions, and he was responsible for the ForFarmers IPO. Today, Jo is going to tell us about his experience and inform you about the best approach to working with your customers and how IT can make a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, Jo van Ijzeren.
Hello, I'm Jo van Ijzeren of Step Up Smart. Welcome to the presentation about business development for law firms, creating customer intimacy and excellent customer experience with IT. The organization's needs. General starting point, an undisturbed and smooth operation of all business duties delivers a maximum contribution to the success of the organization. And lawyers can play a very important role in that. From a perspective of the law firm, there are different approaches from the strategy, but in general, there's a focus on legal activity, sector activity, specific topics, and very important, the considerations that are made and the actions that are taken to support all those activities internally and externally by IT. But it's more useful is about the positioning, but most of all, it's about execution in practice. How are the customer needs by IT? And how can you do that as efficient as possible? Other developments that can be taken into considerations are a more proactive approach, fixed fee, fixed risk, and the interaction between humans and digital exercise. When we look at the position in the business processes, lawyers are often involved on an ad hoc base, on a once in a time exercise, and not on a structured way. That can be proactive or reactive. But when we look at the ideal situation, the lawyers are involved on a regular basis about updates and processes and changes and new initiatives. Then the specific knowledge relevant for that situation can be brought in. When there is a situation of standard situations, then IT plays a more important role in supporting the organization's needs. As said earlier, the involvement of lawyers in a situation is very important. Often lawyers are involved in discussions, in lawsuits, in damage control, etc. But it's more helpful to be involved in an early stage when the preparation of an issue or a change is in place. A timely communication and involvement of the legal, business and staff functions is very, very important. This also concerns the external lawyers. For then you can make better appointments, better prepare the compliance with the regulations. In fact, you have a multidiscipline approach about the subject and the changes. When it comes to execution and action and something goes wrong, then you have a better position when you have to deal with damage or non-compliance or fines. And also the discussions and the litigations have a much better starting point instead of only be involved in that stage. So involvement influences all different phases and steps. This is also important for external law firms. When you are involved in an early stage in the preparation phase, then you can influence and be much more in the position of an architect than of a reactive problem solver. The use of IT and the standardization of processes and documentation is very important for customer interaction and experience. When you have a strong base related the IT support for your customers, then you also hired for specific knowledge and personal involvement cases, especially in the more complex cases that are not standard or can be supported by IT. But there's a tendency that more standardization and the use of IT is increasing. So the personal role and the specific knowledge is not increasing, no, instead it's decreasing. That's why the combination of IT and specific knowledge and personal involvement is really, really important. What and how to create that situation? In fact, it's very simple. Ask, understand your customer real challenges and concerns. And also, what can be done more efficiently? What can lead to better compliance? What to more transparency? Less and predictable costs? What experience is needed? And how can you implement it in practice? And that last question is very important to have a real customer intimacy and an excellent customer experience. What can you do? For example, you can standardize legal services such as risk and compliance assessments, documentation sets, expert systems, create decision trees, intelligent workflows, create an environment for project management. This also can lead to the development of new business models, such as fixed risks and fixed fee models. And it leads to preventing reinventing. It's very important for your customer that they are not paying twice for the same advices. And do it as efficient as possible. Use of IT is necessary to achieve that. And maybe a kind of bold statement, but I think that law firms become IT companies to contribute to the consumer's success. Maybe not internally and in cooperation with other companies, but IT is a vital part of the customer's experience. And also, when you develop a solution for your customer, start with the goal. Think about what you want to achieve. Is that something in behavior? Is that an action? Or is it documentation? And when you have determined the goal of the solution, make a profound analysis of the steps and elements. And that's a base for logic and a consistent solution. And when possible, a customer-oriented, low-threshold solution should be in place. When you can look at apps as a solution, then make them user-friendly, integrated and automated. You can compare it with the payments with your smartphone or smartwatch. This is very easy, and I think from a law perspective, we can make things that easy, although that's sometimes hard to imagine how it can work, but I think there are much possibilities to achieve that. Some examples also to make life easier are an assessment tool that has been prepared by Transform Data, Neotologic and StepUp Smart. That's an assessment tool of mapping the processes of an organization divided in different items, entities, departments, processes, themes, and it can combine all kind of indicators and classifications to the different departments, processes, themes, etc. As an example, you can map for departments the application of standard documentations. You can set values to that, and then you can report between the differences between the different departments. You can create overviews, and you can make different analysis. And also you can determine the priorities when necessary for actions. It's a very powerful setup, very flexible, and helping to make assessments really easy with a very low threshold. An example of an expert system is the market abuse regulation application we have prepared with Transform Data and Step Up Smart. That's about an assessment tool of complying with all market abuse regulations, with the addition of all kinds of advices for practical solutions. And it has a very elaborated dashboard and reporting facility. Another application is also a support application for market abuse, the assessment of price sensible information. It supports organizations that are listed in determining whether an issue is potentially price sensitive or not. It's also possible to customize it for every situation that is desired. These are some examples that can be used as a law firm also, but there are thousands of possibilities. And if you want to know more, please contact us and we can have a thought about possibilities. Thank you very much for your attention.